Hey folks, this is Riker, and is Diablo 4 Season 9 a win or an L? Let's discuss. Later in the video, we'll talk about the huge Microsoft layoffs this week. 9,000 jobs cut, studios closed, games canceled.
It's a bloodbath.
We'll also briefly talk about the Stop Killing Games movement and its latest milestone. Do be sure to ring that sub-notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes. Starting off with the Diablo news. Season 9 of D4 launched on Tuesday, and reactions from the community are, well, let's say mixed. The short version. Some people are having fun. Some people are just done with the game. Same old without enough variation from season to season. And some people have just been waiting for the game to improve in significant ways, and they're not seeing those changes yet, and basically are waiting for expansion 2 at this point.
I think that's a fair point already. Like, yeah, many people don't enjoy the season. I'm still having fun on the new builds, but they went with like a nerf approach rather than buffing the weak builds. And yeah, that did feel really bad. And for me, like, I like to play Barbarian, and Barbarian has been like hit the hardest with like a never-ending barrage of nerfs. And there hasn't really been any like compensation for it. So it feels a bit frustrating. And obviously, like, endgame still has a lot of issues and all this stuff. It's basically the same endgame loop. For me, also, one of the biggest problems is that the high content is not rewarding enough. Like, you have difficult pit content, but the big problem is the boss takes 10 minutes, and also, you don't get rewarded for it. Like, if you do a pit, there's like high pits, there's no reward at all for any of this. You just do the high pits, but like, you're just better off doing content that is not challenging to your character in terms of items, in terms of experience, in terms of all this stuff. And yeah, also feeling that they probably develop a lot of new content, but it's all gonna be behind the expansion paywall, and we only get it like a bare minimum now, it feels. And that's pretty sad for a live service game, from my perspective.
Now, on paper, it's hard to argue that this isn't the best season so far. And I feel I've repeated this.
What?
Hard to argue that this isn't the best season so far.
I think Season 2 and Season 4 have been way better than Season 9, than the current season.
And I feel I've repeated this for almost every season now. And again, on paper, it's true. The game continues to get improvements. Nightmare Dungeons are actually good now. They quietly snuck in some quality of life improvements elsewhere. The seasonal powers are probably the best executed ones yet. For a new player, this is the...
No, I don't know, maybe... Like, I just don't see it this way, but for me, the season powers, like the actual powers, right? Like, some of the actual things, they don't really feel like they have a big impact. Like the catalyst, like early on, like in the early game, yeah, you did some damage with it, but after some time, you basically like stopped doing any significant damage, and also these, I don't know. I feel like last season's power had a bigger impact. But I do like the fact that they're customizable. I just feel like they fall off so fast in the end game. They're good in leveling, and then you never care about them really again.
Best state the game has ever been in. But for those who've been playing the game since launch, progressive upgrades season over season isn't exactly something to get excited about. Am I enjoying the season? Yes, I am having fun. I wasn't really hyped for the season, but I think it ended up being polished since PTR, and it's well executed. I don't have any major complaints about what has been delivered. I generally enjoy playing Diablo 4, and this season is, more of the same. Now, is it possible for me to enjoy this game even more?
But isn't that the problem? The season is more of the same. Like, what do we want? Something new.
More excited for a season launch if certain kinds of content were added or certain changes were made? Yes, absolutely. To answer the question I keep getting asked, is it worth playing Season 9? Well, if you don't like Diablo 4, then no, it is not. Season 9
Shocker.
It's the best apple pie that Blizzard made. If you don't like apple pie, then you won't like Season 9.
And in my opinion, Season 2 and Season 4 were so much better for their time. Like, I agree, like, generally the game gets better over time. But there's also some stuff that I feel gets worse or not addressed, and... yeah, a major part of that for me is like all the never-ending bugs that we have, the math problems, the duplication bugs, like people not getting the items, like font, like it's the small things, but there's many small things that add up, right? Nightmare Dungeons not working, items like dropping with like only 3 affixes, and like all these like I don't know, like font size of the chat, like all the stuff that should. I think a good example is even the hordes, the infernal hordes. They still, after 3 months, have not fixed these minor bugs that you don't have the proper visuals, you don't see the waves, you don't see the amount of cinders that you have in there, or the amount of like materials and stuff. And I don't know, like why they don't fix this? Like, yeah, still not showing any ether. Like that's since last season, and it's still bugged in the game. And now they are laying off. Microsoft is laying off more people at Blizzard's gaming departments. So I don't really see this is getting any better. It's getting worse because they have less people.
If you generally enjoy Diablo 4, if Season 8 didn't burn you out on the game, then you will probably like Season 9. If you didn't like Season 8 because of power fatigue or any other reason really, if you didn't like Season 8, you're not going to like Season 9 either. Now, if you haven't played Diablo 4 since like Season 3 or earlier, then it is worth revisiting the game today to see if you like it now, because it has changed in significant ways since then. You already spent money on the game, may as well see if you like it now. And no, you do not have to buy the expansion to play Season 9. And as a reminder, folks, I have a video going over the kind of end game system I would like to see added to Diablo 4 that I think would make me enjoy the game a lot more. And a lot of people responded positively to
this was a great video. Like he added this like Whisper skill tree system, basically like an Atlas tree in some way, but Diablo style. And I think Riker had really cool ideas. And I really hope that Blizzard is going to be taking some notes and potentially finally improving the end game of Diablo 4. Because the pits, the high pits without any rewards just ain't it, man. And the rest is T4 content that we outscale in a matter of hours if you know what you're doing.
To the idea, and also agree that this is the kind of thing that Diablo 4 needs. And I'll reiterate, it's just a concept, it's not something ready to be added to the game as is. Yeah. It's just an example to convey the spirit of what we're looking for.
It's an idea.
So, I said I have no major complaints about Season 9, so let's go over the minor complaints I have. There's some weird bug that has made the chat font extra large and...
There we go. I mean, there's minor bugs, but there's like many of them. Many minor bugs that I don't think they should be in the game. Or it also sends a bad light, like they're just not fixing them fast. Like, they know about all these bugs, but, like, there's no fixes.
Nothing we can do about it. The bug with Infernal Hordes is back, where I can't see how much ether I have to spend on my rewards.
Yes.
And therefore, I also can't track how efficient I'm.
But the bug is not back. It's still in the game for almost 3 months without being fixed.
This was kind of annoying because it's been 2 seasons now. I mean, come on. I guess they just really don't want us doing Infernal Hordes until season...
Yeah, fuck that, man. Don't do Infernal Hordes, guys. It's full of bugs.
10, which is said to be the Infernal Hordes rework. And Season 10 is likely to begin on September 23rd, as per the in-game notification on when the current Reliquary ends.
Whoa. Okay, wait. So they already made this up from just going Reliquary? September 23rd. It says 80 days. Okay, so 80 days from now. Yeah, I guess that's the September 23rd then. I don't even know how to open the date on this PC. Here? September 23rd. That would mean... Yeah, that's a Tuesday. Keep in mind, guys, more damage on Tuesdays. So, yeah. September 23rd. That's the new season date. Last time we were correct as well with this July. A date that we just had, so... September 23rd, next season starts.
The drop rates for Arcana were... That's a segment of the Heraldric Powers, the season theme. The drop rates for Arcana were criminally low at season launch. Now, they fixed this within a day and a half, so kudos there. Gotta credit them for being swift to fix it, but it kind of boggles the mind how that passed muster. Now,
how did it happen in the first place? Exactly.
Itself, it wasn't the end of the world for the Arcana drops to be so rare, but we needed to collect them as part of the season journey in a fairly early step. So I was stuck on like chapter 2 of the season journey while I was on like Torment 3 difficulty because I only found 2 Arcana. So I was so bottlenecked in my progression of the season journey that by the time I was able to claim the rewards later on, they're all useless to me. And speaking of Arcana...
I also feel like this happened a lot to people and to me to a degree as well. I had to do so many strong rooms, like just the same content over and over and over again, just to finish or just to get like somewhere with the season journey, that you already like kind of fed up on it. Like the season journey, like it already asks you to do like basically 100 strong rooms, and it's just like the same repeated content over and over and over again. I don't know about you guys, but like that was getting boring pretty fast. Just like having to do like a gazillion strong rooms, like just the same content every time.
They drop looking like regular items.
Yes.
I'm sure many of you folks who have played have missed a lot of these.
That's me. I never pick up blue items, and you know those blue arcanas, like they don't show anything special. Like they just look blue when they drop on the floor, and you just can't really see them. It's very difficult.
Drops. You know, people ignore rare items pretty early on, and many of the arcana drops look just like rare items.
But that's also because the itemization, we still don't have any use case for white, blue, and yellow items. They are still completely useless. You can't craft with them. You can't interact with them in any way. They are not useful. Like starting at level like 30, you only care about, you know, the legendary items anyways. So itemization, man, that's still a big work in progress. Like itemization, I can't even say, but like itemization in Diablo 2 was just like a million times better. Like every item had a use case. 25 years ago, we recently were celebrating 25 years anniversary of D2. And somehow the itemization system is still miles ahead. A 25-year-old itemization system is still miles ahead of a nowadays modern game system. It's just like, why?
There's no special leaf icon on the minimap or a different color or anything.
25 years,
Big
man.
oversight there, in my opinion. Now, Nightmare Dungeons have been greatly improved with tons of positive affixes that actually feel good now. Even the negative affixes have been improved. There's like new ambush encounters, which are pretty cool. Now, one of those positive aspects grants extra XP. However, it does so by dropping XP globes. These globes spawn on the ground after killing monsters, but it's kind of on a delay. So if I have an efficient build, I've already run past the dead monsters by the time the globe spawns, and I gotta backtrack to pick them up because my pet is
Because people like backtracking and the pet isn't picking them. The pet's too goddamn lazy.
gonna pick them up. Also, in party play, everyone sees the same globes, but the XP is only given to the player who picks
Haven't
it
thought
up.
this through.
Not fun. Then it's our regularly scheduled time to complain about tempering again. The problem that just won't go away. I'm pretty sure I said this back when they...
Bro, man, I bricked my first amulet ever. I got like an amulet for like 90 billion gold, and it just bricked. The temper system just bricked it, man. And we still don't have master work checkpoints. Like, I think we have 90% community agreement that master working checkpoints would be such a somewhat easy solution to a very annoying problem. But we still don't have it.
first implemented the scrolls of retempering. Just a band-aid solution. It makes the problem being bricking, happen less often, but it does still happen. Now, yes, randomness is at the heart of the ARPG.
Usable once.
And getting random loot is huge fun. Because it's like...
I remember when they announced this. You guys remember this? They said no more bricking of items when they were talking about the Dark Citadel. But then they made it one-time usable. So you're just gonna brick your items anyway.
You know, winning the lottery. But randomness in crafting outcomes is not fun. We want RNG loot and deterministic crafting.
Yes.
The whole point of crafting is to allow players to take control of bad RNG.
Yes.
And I'll repeat, this isn't
Amen.
about me wanting to make the game easier. I'd rather tempering be more expensive and less RNG based so that I have to be selective in what items I choose to temper. Because if I get an upgrade, you know, maybe I can't afford to temper it until I farm back up the temper
Man spoke like a real gamer.
resources. As opposed to basically having infinite temper materials, and what I'm running out of is base items that are worth tempering. Oh, also, which is the season that's going to rework cellars to actually be worth exploring? Alright, let's end with some of the good, though.
Yeah, there is a lot of good as well. But yeah, I feel like there is so much feedback on this, like from the PTR, on the forums, from many different channels. Blizzard gets a lot of feedback. But it looks like it's challenging to implement that feedback depending on size and depending on doability and stuff. And like now there's even less people working on the game because Microsoft fired a bunch of them because of the layoffs. And I don't really know. Yeah, we have also dupes in the game. Oh, yeah, I don't think this is going to get better anytime soon is the problem. Like, I want it to be better. I still enjoy the game. The base game, the graphics and everything is still so good. And I really wish it's getting better, but I just don't see it right now, you know? I just only see it getting, like, the same or worse. And people were already coping for the next expansion, right? Like, Vessel of Hatred was supposed to fix all this.
This game is going to be RDY in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, people keep saying it's in beta. Like, we just saw 150 clear, man. Infinite damage exploit, duplication bugs. Like, oh, man. It just, like, hurts. Like, if you care about the game, man, it just hurts. Like, having infinite damage and having, like, duplicates everywhere. And, like, man. And then now less people. And oftentimes, guys, it's not the developer's fault. Like because like they just get laid off or something, or they have limited resources. I'm very sure lots of the developers, you know, they want to make a good game, they want to like fix this stuff, and they have so much passion for this. But there's just limited resources and corporate stuff happening. It's, man, effed up.
I was concerned that we would not feel the impact of our Heraldric powers. I do very much feel the impact of my Heraldric power. I think it's a lot of fun. I was concerned that the Astral...
So I agree. Heraldric power, like I said earlier, the Heraldric power during leveling, like while I was leveling, the Heraldric powers were great. But now that we're in endgame, I don't know about you, chat, but for me, the Heraldric powers in the endgame, they have no impact. Like, yeah, they're kind of there, you know, they're kind of around, but they deal ZDPS, they do nothing. Some of them have some like very minor effects. But yeah, during leveling, it was great. Like the first couple hours I played, it felt really good. But it fell off so hard in the end game.
Roth fight would feel like a waste of time. It kind of felt that way to me on PTR. He now feels rewarding. I'm still not convinced I feel the sense of escalation in an escalating nightmare. Nope. But I nonetheless do still enjoy doing escalating.
They made the escalating nightmare dungeons much better than on the PTR. But it's still not escalating. Not escalating. It's not really challenging to the degree that I would like. I would like way more customizable options for the escalating nightmare dungeons to like make them even more difficult and more like juice them up basically. Make them more difficult, but at the same time make them more rewarding. We don't have any of that.
Nightmares, at least for now. As a whole, I like the reworked nightmare dungeons. I think it's very effective. I'm also glad that you can run the nightmare.
I mean, of course, the system is better than it was before, but it doesn't mean the system is good, right? Just because it's better doesn't mean it's great. It's okay, better than before, but, you know, it's still missing this escalating part for me completely.
Dungeons and the escalating nightmares prior to level 60 for players to experience the new content prior to endgame. Would just be great if a Nightmare Dungeon sigil would have an indicator on it when it is currently an active bounty. Or whisper, sorry. The strong rooms, I enjoy doing them, but I gotta say I feel there's a real lack of clarity on what the hell is going on inside them. It's just a chaotic mess of running around, racing against the clock to kill.
I kind of like the strong room, like a bit of a being a bit of a mess, being a bit crazy, but just doing them all over and all over again without them being challenging at all. Like that boss just dies in one shot. If you play like any strong build, the boss dies in one shot. Everything just dies immediately. It's just Torment 4. And I would just really like a way to juice them, like make them very challenging, like 10 times harder, but also make them like twice or 3 times as rewarding.
Monsters, while there's a bunch of side objectives and things happening, and it's not clear what's a priority or how to optimize things. And if your build is strong enough, it doesn't really matter. You just run around killing things and you easily beat the timer regardless of your approach, which kind of makes the side objectives feel over-engineered in a way that the Undercity or Infernal Hordes don't. Like in those two game modes, the purpose of the objectives is clear to me. I always have a sense of the choices that I'm making, why I'm making these choices, what are the impact of those choices. I don't know, maybe I just need more experience with strong rooms for it to click for me. Oh, we got a nice quality of life addition here. In the wardrobe, you can now select one transmog item, like a helm, a chest, whatever. You hold down your click or your select, whatever type of controller you're using, and it's going to apply the entire set of that transmog to your character, as opposed to just the one item. This is really helpful because previously, if you wanted to equip an entire set, you have to individually go to every piece of gear and like look through the 80 billion cosmetics and try to find which is the one that goes with that set.
That sounds great.
By looking at the little like 3x8 pixel tiny, icon and basing yourself on the name.
But this happened to me a lot, like just trying to find something that you want to equip. There's not even like an equip set option, right? I wanted to equip this like beauty and sin, like for obvious reasons, right? This skin is paying for itself, right? But it took me forever to find all these, man, because there's just like a small icon that you need to get. It's not that easy to see, man. So quality of life
games
much improved.
And some sets have no, just the naming, the nomenclature system just doesn't make any sense.
They also released a Spiritborn skin like this, and they made Spiritborn the strongest class, beauty and sin.
So anyway, it's a great change. Now, if you folks are planning to dive into Season 9, I have a class tier list and an Ultimate Season 9 guide that covers the
Bob is in F tier, man. F tier.
The fastest leveling methods, and how to get and use your heraldic powers, so do check those out. For those who tried Season 9, what are your thoughts? Sound off in the comments. Now on Twitter, Diablo's Global Community Development Director Adam Fletcher stated, quote, "Just know that your war cries of wanting more change aren't going unnoticed."
Bob hint, by the way, war cries.
The team has been cooking on some of the biggest changes that really hit home on things people have been asking for and...
Well, I like this. Like, it's great to hear, and I appreciate it. But the problem is, they've been saying this for quite some time. Like, I don't know, man. I hope the best, man, I hope this is gonna be insane and we finally fix the end game and we get a new class and all the crazy stuff's happening. But it's like, I really believe it when I see it, like we have had many promises, like that. We'll see.
Changes that really hit home on things people have been asking for and more. Well, hopefully Season 10 is when we start seeing these changes.
Like Season 10, I don't think so, man. It's all going to be in the expansion. Well, not all, but I think most of it is going to be in the expansion. And it's most likely going to be behind the paywall there. Which, they want to make money. I get it. It makes sense. Still doesn't mean it's great.
Fletcher also commented on the boss immunity phases for Andariel, Duriel, and Mephisto, something we've been complaining about now for at least a season or two. And he said, quote, "There are plans to fix this up." We'll see what the team does. Meanwhile, the Season 9 quest line...
I also feel like in the philosophy, like campfire chats, like they have good philosophy on all this. It's just the execution, like the implementation of this philosophy and these plans into the game, is not that smooth yet. Like, we're just like missing a lot of this stuff in game that they talk about in the philosophy. It just doesn't match yet.
Teaser for expansion 2, it would appear. An NPC is urging townsfolk to head west on a pilgrimage to the Prophet. Now, this lines up with my theory that Mephisto, in disguise as Akarat, will head west across the sea, back to Honduras, to revisit Westmarch and other familiar locations to Diablo fans. I have a whole video going over my theories right here. Lastly, Diablo 2 celebrated its 25th anniversary last weekend, and Blizzard left a...
More teasers, guys. More teasers. We talked about it earlier. 25-year anniversary of having great loot.
Cryptic tweet stating, quote, "If you think you've seen and done it all, just wait for the chaos we're yet
to unleash." People were already like, oh, they're going to make an Act 6 in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Or then people were like, they're going to resurrect or remaster Diablo 3. And like... It's gonna be another phone game. There's been so many memes, man. It's gonna be Diablo Immortal 2. They're teasing so much, man. I believe it when I see it. You know, I'm like cautiously optimistic with this stuff. We've seen so much.
To unleash. Some fans are getting really hyped over this, and oh man, I think we should just, let's not set ourselves up for disappointment, okay?
Dial down.
Expect the minimum. This way, anything above that will be a pleasant surprise. Don't go in expecting
I
like
have a phone.
a new expansion to D2 or something. You know, maybe we'll get a season
Diablo 3 on mobile, guys. No.
theme for D2 that adds like some new rune words, maybe a
That'd
new
be sick.
endgame feature or something. But honestly, I don't even want to set my expectations that high. Now, to celebrate the 25th
Go low.
anniversary, Path of Exile co-creator Chris Wilson sat down with
That was
Diablo
cool.
co-creator David Brevik for a really interesting interview. Wilson is a huge Diablo 2 fan, arguably the biggest Diablo 2 fan in the world. And we learned that after leaving Grinding Gear Games, he is now looking to start up on new projects, and he's actually looking to hire an art director with a deep familiarity with Diablo 2. Definitely check out the interview. Link in the description below. It is unlike any other David Brevik interview you may have seen over the years, because Chris Wilson asks some questions and gives some insights that only someone who has also developed an ARPG can. Also, subscribe to his YouTube channel, because now we're going to move on to some devastating industry news.
Brutal.
Last week, we reported on rumors that Microsoft was on the brink of laying off about 2,000 people. Well, this week, Microsoft laid off around 9,000 people.
Vegeta! What does the scouter say about his power level? Man, it's over 9,000, guys. It's really sad for those people who lost their jobs. Holy shit, man.
About 4%
9,000 jobs. Gone.
of its total global workforce, in what is now the second largest round of
The
cuts
bloodbath
in
out there.
company history. The biggest was last year,
over
when
9,000.
11,000 people
Shit.
lost their jobs. And once again, Xbox studios have taken a massive hit. Let's start with Blizzard. Less than a year after Warcraft
hear it.
Rumble launched on
I don't
PC,
even know these numbers. Like, I haven't not heard about like how much Blizzard let go. Or has
Blizzard
been let go.
has ended all new content development for the game. According to former team members, most of the Rumble team has been laid off. Warcraft Rumble began development 9 years ago, so this isn't just a
Canceled,
little
man.
mobile game quietly winding
took
down.
out
It was
jobs.
a long-term project that's now been shuttered in under a year. Meanwhile, Xbox's Perfect Dark reboot is officially dead. The Initiative, that's the name of the studio that Microsoft formed back in 2018 specifically for this quadruple A project, they've been shut down. Crystal Dynamics was actually co-developing that one, and all they've
Bro, they're just going there with a red marker, like gone, nuked, get out of here. Like, man, that's crazy.
really seemed to produce over the years was a couple of trailers.
Leaner
Alex
and
Wilton
meaner
Regan,
company.
the Joanna Dark voice actress, even took to social media asking fans to try to save the game, but at this
And you see, guys, like, I'm pretty sure lots of the developers, like, you know, for example, in Diablo, they see these problems with the game. But then, you know, half of them are losing their jobs. And, like, they're already not fixing them right now. So do you think they're gonna get fixed, like, easy in the future with less people working there?
point there
I don't know,
maybe
man.
nothing left to save. Everwild, the mysterious game by Sea of Thieves developers Rare, which was first announced in 2019,
Cut all
was
these
canceled
projects.
this week. That game spent close to a decade in development limbo and was reportedly still in early production even now. Rare has lost key figures like Greg Mayles and Louise O'Connor, both of whom also helped lead Sea of Thieves. It's unclear what's next for the studio. ZeniMax Online Studios, the devs of The Elder Scrolls Online, also had a major MMO project codenamed Blackbird in development since 2018. That's been canceled too, despite reports that executives loved what they saw just a few months ago. And to add salt to the wound, staff were locked out of their Slack accounts before even being told whether they were laid off. The studio's longtime game
Guys, you lose access to your Slack account, you already know something is up, man. Like, something is coming. They locked out all of your work stuff, man. Like, ooh. And in America, it's like this hire and fire mentality, right? Like, for example, in Germany, we have like very strong labor laws. Like, if you are like employed like at a company, you can't just get fired. Like, just like from today to tomorrow. Like, it's not easy, you know. You have very strong rights, and in America, it's just like yeah, you just hire fire, like, you know, like there's no tomorrow. It's pretty wild out there, man.
Director Matt Firer is also leaving after 18 years with the company. Doesn't even stop there. Turn 10 Studios, makers of Forza Motorsport, reportedly laid off nearly half their staff. State of Decay 3 developer Undead Labs was hit. Compulsion Games, Mojang's QA team.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's always like this, but in general, the mentality in America is like much more like free with this. Like people are basically like hiring, firing. Companies are hiring and firing left and right. Like, okay, some of you might get like early notice, but a lot of people don't, man. I'm pretty sure these 9,000 people that got laid off, they all didn't know 2 months in advance, man. Like, this was kind of surprising.
Halo Studios, formerly 343 Industries, all these guys were affected. Even Call of Duty
gone,
developers
man.
like Sledgehammer, Raven, and High Moon saw layoffs. Candy Crush maker King reportedly cut.
There's also like, for example, the community manager here for Europe, for Blizzard, like that I was always talking to. He got fired last year. And I think now I know like a couple more people got fired like that I know at Blizzard. They're just like not there anymore.
200 jobs, that's
Fucking
10%
crazy.
of their staff. And this all happens right after Microsoft pledged an $80 billion
I don't
investment
even know if there is a Europe community manager now. Probably not. They just fired him. Fuck.
in AI.
He's just gone,
Some
man.
reports indicate that Microsoft is
He
trying
was
to
great.
replace as many
Very
jobs
sad.
as they can with AI agents. Which leads us to maybe the most tone-deaf moment of the week. An Xbox executive, Matt Turnbull, took to LinkedIn to tell laid-off employees they should try using ChatGPT to ease the emotional and cognitive
What?
load of losing their job.
Nah, that guy must be trolling. What? Wait. There's no way.
Tone-deaf moment of the week. An Xbox executive, Matt Turnbull,
executive?
took to LinkedIn to tell laid-off employees they should try using ChatGPT to ease the emotional and cognitive load
Emotional damage? What?
of losing their job. He even shared sample prompts the laid-off employees could use, like
the prompt.
this gem right here. Quote, "I'm struggling with imposter syndrome after being laid off.
Bro, that's
Can you
so
help me
mean.
reframe this experience in a way that reminds me what I'm good at?"
What?
That post has since been deleted.
Yeah,
Now,
I
this
was
week
about
did
to
not
say,
happen
no
in
way.
a vacuum. It's
That's
just
an executive posting this?
part of a
Oh yeah, get over it, man. You lost your job. Get over it, man. Here's some AI. What?
greater trend we've been seeing from Microsoft for a while now. And it's leading people to question, is Microsoft even capable of
Cope with
running
the
game
emotional
studios? Now, allegedly, in recent years, Microsoft has been very hands-off with their studios, which sounds great, but then that leads to some studios working away at a project for
Man, that's what Activision said to Blizzard. We are pretty hands-off of all the Blizzard products. But then at some point, Bobby Kotick and Activision, like, they swooped in a lot, man, and cut so much of the stuff that was OG Blizzard. Yeah, it's a very hands-off approach, guys. You know, nothing is going to change for you with the Activision merger. But it freaking did.
a decade with nothing to show for it and then being shut down. Now, Obsidian, that seems to be one of the few Xbox acquisitions that has thrived under this style of governance, because they're a veteran studio that doesn't need that level of management. But for other studios, there is apparently such a thing as
Too big
being
to
too
fail.
hands-off. This seems like an overcorrection from Xbox's original approach back when they bought Bungie and stifled them into wanting to break free, or when they ran Lionhead into the ground by forcing them to work on Kinect games. There's got to be some happy middle ground between being too controlling and simply writing blank checks. Bruno Diaz,
Yeah,
former
that's
lead
right.
narrative and systems designer on Fall in London, said on Blue Sky, quote, "When mass layoffs are just a quarterly event, is this not just a death spiral? Xbox already seems to be pivoting,
This new quarterly event, man. Layoffs every quarter.
Sega-like, away from hardware and toward being purely a publisher. At the same time, they're gutting their portfolio. Okay, are you going to have a company at the end of all of this? Xbox behaves like a company that's been sold to private equity and is having the copper stripped out of the walls. Bethesda allegedly canceled funding for several unannounced projects at multiple studios, with the team at Romero Games being one of them. They had their funding canceled for an unannounced project they were working on. Romero Games was founded by the John Romero back in 2015, and they were working on an FPS. On social media, the team said, quote, "We deeply wish there had been something, anything we could have done to prevent this outcome. We hit every milestone on time, every time, consistently received high praise, and easily passed all our internal gates." Meanwhile, Microsoft is fighting back against rumors that Xbox boss Phil Spencer is retiring by saying, no, he is not retiring anytime soon.
Not yet.
In other news, the Stop Killing Games petition has officially hit 1 million signatures. An absolutely massive milestone in the fight for digital consumer rights. But while it's a major win, the fight is not over yet. Now, if you don't know, the petition is part of an official European Citizens Initiative, or an ECI. That's not just an online petition where you just throw in your email and you can feel good about yourself. ECIs are legally recognized instruments that can force the European Commission to respond and potentially even legislate.
And if Europe legislate this, there's high chance that other countries or other regions will follow.
If the initiative meets all the requirements.
Especially like the pay-to-win Gamba stuff, like psychology tricks. Like we had like some countries here, like Belgium, you know, like all these, like for example, Diablo Immortal, like kind of like slot machine Gamba stuff is already forbidden there. And yeah, it basically just exists to like take money out of your pocket, man, for some pixels and some transmogs, man, in the most predatory way possible. So really happy to see this.
And hitting 1 million verified signatures is the critical threshold. Now, here's the thing. Yes, we have 1 million signatures right now, but not all signatures are going to count. Historically, you tend to see between 20 to 30% of entries getting tossed during the verification process. This is due to duplicates. People, don't realize they already signed it. They try to sign it again.
They dupe everywhere.
Some people putting in fake names. Sometimes you have non-EU people signing, like Americans. Some people just make typos. So unfortunately, that means while this is a great milestone, this is just the beginning. To safely pass,
we'll link it below,
the organizers are aiming for 1.3 to 1.5 million signatures. As of the time of this recording, actually, we're up to 1.1, so that's good. We just got to make sure there's enough of a buffer to account for errors and still clear the bar once the audit happens. Again, for context here, only EU citizens can sign the official petition. UK residents have a separate petition that's making the rounds. Now, in terms of impact, if this initiative is successful, it could force the European Commission to draft legislation preventing companies from permanently shutting down digital games and services that people paid for. In other words, it's about making it illegal to kill access to a game you own just because the publisher decided it wasn't profitable anymore. If passed, this would be a landmark win for consumer protection, and it could set a precedent that affects not just Europe, but global practices.
Obviously, the gaming companies will not like this because they have to keep paying for some servers and stuff, right? But yeah, for the customers, for us gamers, that's great.
Now, this does not mean that devs are never allowed to shut down their games, that they have to, bankrupt themselves for eternity to keep a game running. That's not what it means. It means they'd have to ensure that the game is still playable in some form, even if they shut down their servers.
Yeah, just make it like, for example, offline.
For instance, providing an offline mode.
Yeah.
So if you're in the EU and you haven't signed the petition, please do it. And if you already have signed it, spread the word. This might be our best shot yet at keeping the games we paid for, from disappearing into the void forever. And that's going to wrap up this video, folks. But do be sure to check out last week's video in which we discussed the Diablo 4 Season 9 dev livestream. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up.
Man,
and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more gaming content.
He always has a good take, man. Like, there's a lot of good stuff here. I also really like how he's like covering like all this like broader news, especially like with these layoffs and stuff, and to see his take about it. But yeah, guys, in general, I think the current season 9 has quite some problems, and I'm hoping, especially like for me, the biggest gripe is just the end game, man. Like T4 content is so comfortable, easy. The escalating are not really escalating dungeons, and then there is the pit. But the problem is there is no incentive or reason right now to do high pits. I also you know, like I play video games for fun, right? But also I don't think the high pits are fun because you have this like 10-minute boss fights against like a damage sponge in the end. And it's just like very, you know, repetitive. Like for me, the end game is basically coming from, you know, making new builds. I've really enjoyed the Thorn Spiritborn. I've really enjoyed the Hydra Sorg. I'm probably going to make a Druid next. We're not going to make a Bar, but we're going to make a Druid. So there's fun in the variety and meta changes and some cool new builds to play. But there's not really like a big challenge to take those builds, you know, like to truly challenge your character and stuff. Like I'm having fun making a new class and testing all the different new builds, but I wish long term, and I think this is the biggest problem, for there to be more things to do, meaningful things, good rewards, challenging content in some kind of passion. This is like the main thing that I think Diablo 4, in my opinion, is lacking. And then we can talk about the bugs, the class balance, you know, like all that stuff. I think like as long as there's like some meaningful, cool, engaging variety in the end game, that'd be a major W. But yeah, I'll link the video here from Riker below, guys. Make sure to check this out. I'll also post this in the channel. And yeah, good video, guys. Let me know what you think about the current state of season. I know many people, like I've seen it from Rax, I've also seen it from like Baskinator, some other German creators that have basically like a full, like, you know, quit the season. I'm still enjoying the season, you know, but I think for a lot of people, the time for there to be fresh content is maybe like a week, maybe a week and a half or so. And then after that, people move on. And hopefully long term, they can add some more meaningful end game to make the progression a bit longer. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you soon, my friends. GG, check out Riker.
If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.